Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Polkaros Podcast, where I speak with fellow craftspeople, artists and creatives. Today we're very happy to have Clare from Friday's Garden join us. Hi Clare, thank you.
Ross.
And thank you so much for having us in your beautiful studio. Today we're recording in Friday's Garden studio, which is a very special experience because we really feel like we have entered Friday's Garden with birds chirping in the background and we are surrounded with beautiful flowers. So Claire, can you share more about your journey with flowers with us? How do you start Friday's Garden?
Sure, yeah. So I've always been drawn to storytelling, I think, as a career, So for the longest time, I actually entered the creative industry as a copywriter. So words were my love language, when I first started, and this was in like my 20s. But as it went on, I became a mom, and I think I needed a bit of a break from the corporate side of things. And so I started painting. And then lockdown happened. Yeah. So from my acrylics and watercolors and large canvases, I suddenly found myself in my apartment as, I would say trapped with my kids and the dog. And don't get me wrong, I love my kids and I love my family. But it was just such a drastic change, right? That I found myself craving something, an outlet of expression, but I wasn't able, as you know, non-essential service, right? Artists. So
Those were the days.
Correct. So I was actually renting my friend's, a room in my friend's place. And because it was a residential, I couldn't access my studio.
I see.
But I found out that plants and flowers could be delivered to my door. Yeah. And so I did a bit of like sleuthing, amateur sleuthing, and realized that there are these like WhatsApp groups out there, and Telegram groups where they would actually, you could place an order for flowers and they would have it sent to you. Yeah, and so that's what kind of started the whole thing, because I thought, okay, how lovely, let me just try for fun, and I could gift friends. And as it went on, I realized, wow, this thing is pretty spender. It was quite expensive, a hobby. Yeah. And beyond that, it was also the wastage, because no matter what you can gift to, I got greedy with the types of flowers, right? Because I got more and more excited about the different types available. And then I realized, oh no, what am I going to do with the leftovers? And so I actually reached out. At the time, I had a plant account on Instagram called The Dog Ate My Plant, which is now very much defunct. I mean, it's still there, but it's slightly neglected because we're so busy here at Fridays. But I reached out and I said, look, if there are 5 people who are willing to jump on board with me, and all I need are $50 a week. $50, I will send you my creations, delivered to your door, and I've got no training, right? No formal training whatsoever, but it will help to fund the flowers and you journey with me. So that's how it started. This was in 2021, I think May, June. June was probably when I first started out at home just playing, and then by July or August, I was already posting it on IG under my plant account. And these 5 amazing individuals, I mean, they're still around. I mean, some of them are still clients, Not all of them are still subscribers. In fact, we had to pause our subscriptions because we were too busy with events and stuff like that. But I would love to kickstart that again. And that's how it started. Yeah.
And were they your friends or they were just purely like...
2 of them were friends, and then 3 of them were actually from the Instagram space, the realm, from the community, and very supportive. Up to today, I'm still grateful for them. Really grateful for them, because they didn't have to do it. Right? And it's not, if you think about it, it's not a small amount of money either. It seems small now compared to, the cost of flowers and living, right, and everything. But hey, it's $50 a week, and with an unknown creator. So always be indebted, and grateful.
But did you already, so they saw some of your examples that you were posting and they liked it, that's why they subscribed, right? Was it?
Yes, so I posted just recently, we're on IG, yes. You know how now they have stickers which you can tag yourself and post photos from the past and stuff like that. So there was one that said, show your works when you first started out from years ago. And we only started in 2021, but oh my goodness, Ross, when I looked through the album and I saw all my first creations and they were all like poor strangled flowers. I didn't know the techniques, right? So it was about, this is pretty and let's cram it into this pot. And because I had when I first started out, I was like, okay, I have this vision in mind, and I want to make sure that it ends up looking like that, because coming from the design realm and from branding, that's how we start, right?
Yes.
We have a message that we want to put out to the audience, and we have our storyboards, and we have this plan, and and so that's how I first started out, and I didn't have a relationship. I didn't have a relationship with the blooms at the time, a connection, that's what I mean by relationship, right? And it showed. It showed, and when I posted those IGS stories, the IG stories, yeah, it was really like, wow, okay, so I guess all of us start somewhere, because as I said in my caption, those would never leave Friday's door right now, not anymore. Yeah.
So when you first started, do you think the motivation was more like you were saying, using the flowers to send a message to, like, a loved one? Like, were there other motivation besides before you reached the point that you wanted to share the flower story? Maybe like, was it because, during COVID, people needed that little boost,
Yeah. So when I first started, it wasn't altogether altruistic. Like I said, it was a self-preservation thing, right? And how with the potted plants, for example, that I used to order in, I used to draw so much hope from them, because again in life, I found myself, I was always like, once COVID is over, then I'll go back to where my life was, and I was craving that sort of that goal, right? And waiting for it, and moping around. But then when I thought about these potted plants, and you get them in these tiny little plastic pots, 8 cm diameter, every day that plant grows.
Wow.
Every day that plant will still push out roots. It doesn't matter that it's not in the perfect conditions, or how dare you rip me out from the the nursery or the forest or whatever. I mean, no, let's not rip plants out of the forest. Poaching is bad. Let me just say that for the record. But everything in the plant's DNA was designed to grow. And with whatever morsel of light it would get, it would take that and it would put it into its life's purpose. Oh my, how can you run away from that? And once that clicked for me, everything changed. And that's when I actually started up this Instagram account called The Dog Ate My Plant. And that was, again, not altruistic. It was really like my journey, and I was very excited to document, as with all the the newly minted plant moms and dads during COVID. I think all of us are drawn to it for a reason, right? And that was the energy that you get from the plants is something that I can't even put into words. And so the love started there, and then it, like I said, it went into flowers once I realized that, okay, flowers could be sent too, and it was so fun weaving the colors together, and I could find my voice again. But yes, eventually when I started posting it, right, I started getting DMs saying that, hi, do you do orders? And the first thing that strikes you is, oh my God, imposter syndrome. Do I really do I take orders? Because I'm not a professional florist. But I'm like, okay, what's your budget? I'm here to help, because then they'll go, it's actually for a friend who lost his job, or it's for my friend, she's, down, she's in lockdown, separated from her family. She just came back from overseas, because a lot of them were coming back in, but they had to be at hotels, and they had to be stuck there for 2 weeks, alone in a room in isolation. And I mean, looking back, that was such a surreal time for us, right?
Yes,
yeah. And so I thought, well, okay. And I always started with a caveat. I'm not a professional, but sure, if this is the budget, sure, I can put something together for you.
Awesome.
And that was scary. I can tell you that was scary. Because at the time, I mean, I was already interested in the art of floristry. So obviously you go onto the different accounts, and you go onto these overseas accounts and local accounts, and you look at, wow, what people are doing, But I never, I guess, sought to emulate. I think I didn't have the technical know-how anyway. But I knew that what I really enjoyed, I knew that, how do I put this into words? See, my hands are already moving, right?
Yes.
Because there's something different about writing a card to someone saying that I'm rooting for you, I care about you, I miss you. And those words seem to flow so easily for me before. And they still do. I love writing still, but when you feel the textures, and you feel the different blooms, the stems, how they yield, how some of them refuse to yield, and you sort of have to just adjust your expectations, and how at the end, or rather in the beginning, there's no point having this end goal in mind. Like you might be able to sort of envision the colors, and I see things in colors actually, right? So, but what you end up with is a complete surprise to you.